Muted. You're dead. Even better. Huh? Everybody's gonna call you at the end. You still need to put it on vibrate. Question for y'all. How many of y'all enjoy the reciting of the commandments before service? What it'll do for you? Open you up, reassure. What else? Okay. So y'all know y'all made a vow when y'all did that, right? And with that vow, you know we got to pay up, right? So whenever we break these commandments, we got to get visited for that. Or we supposed to get visited for that. Because whatever come out of your mouth to the Most High, He's going to hold you to it, right? So I just want y'all to think on that as we go through this lesson. Seeing as though we in the festival spirit of the Pesach, unleavened bread, right? You had a good time yesterday? Yeah, good. All right. Let's deal with something concerning unleavened bread. Let's get Leviticus chapter 23. Leviticus 23. And we can pick it up at verse 5.
Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 5. In the 14th day of the first month at even is Yahuwah's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yahuwah. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. In the first day ye shall have a Kodesh convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah 7 days.
So what are we supposed to do for this feast? Eat unleavened bread for 7 days, and what else we supposed to do? Offering. What else? One of the major things that we got to do for this feast. Kodesh convocation, but what do we have to do? It's something we got to do. Take the leaven out, right? Got to take the leaven out. Taking the leaven out of your house, is it easy or is it a hard thing to do? Hard for some, easy for some. But it's synonymous with removing sin out of your body, right? This is the start of the year. This is the basically your beginning point. So when you removing leaven out of your house, you're supposed to also be moving it out of your body, your temple, right? How easy is it to do that? It's not easy. You said it's easy? Easy. How many of y'all sin after unleavened bread? No, just how many people sin after the feast of unleavened bread? Nobody sin after the feast of unleavened bread?
Whether knowing or unknowing.
Knowing or unknowing. Right? Now, it can't be that easy to keep out. Right? Once you remove it, I mean, it's cool. Right? But is it easy to keep the quote-unquote leaven out? Is it easy to stay without sin? Right? But you have to try. Did I say anything wrong? I didn't say anything wrong?
You said try.
You got to do it. We can't try. We can't try to get into the kingdom. It's either you going or you ain't going. Right? Get 1 Corinthians chapter 5. 1 Corinthians chapter 5. Now, B was explaining about the leaven, right? Yesterday. And you would get some sourdough, right? And you would take a little piece of that and you would put it into the new bread to make it plump up and all of that, right? Said B didn't know what he was talking about. First Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6.
1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 6. Your esteeming is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leavens the whole lump?
So, a little bit of quote-unquote sin or unrighteousness can tear up everything else that you trying to build, right? It don't take a lot. It could take a small sin here, going somewhere you wasn't supposed to go there. You know what I'm saying? A thought that you let cross in your mind and stay and dwell there to ruin everything that you built concerning the Most High, right? It only takes a little bit. Can we find any example in the scriptures where a little leaven screwed up everything? Moshe?
Yeah.
How so?
He was leading the way into the promised land. At one moment of anger, he was like, you can't go.
Was it only one moment?
That one moment in particular.
King David.
Thinking bigger. I'm thinking bigger.
King
King David? Because remember, they still went into the promised land.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the most.
David.
Individually. I got you.
King David.
How so?
That one look.
That one look caused it. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else?
Solomon.
Solomon? How so?
He married other women outside of Israel,
He married other women outside of Israel,
and he worshiped their God.
and he worshiped their God. Okay.
I'm trying to think like that.
And you say I'm looking for
Eve,
Eve,
Adam.
Yeah, that's
Adam. I like that one too. I wasn't even thinking about that one. I like that one. I like that one. All right. You made a good point, Brother Jerome, because that's what we're about to look at right quick. A little leaven leavened the whole lump, right? 1 Kings chapter 11.
We had one of our children said that when Lot's wife looked back.
You said it?
Uh-huh.
See the wheels turning? That's Qual's daughter, y'all. That's Qual's daughter. Well, teaching her something over there.
Where that go?
1 Kings chapter 11. Let's look at a big picture right here. 1 Kings chapter 11, and we can pick it up at verse 1. Somebody stole it. 11:1. 1 Kings 11 and 1. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. Right?
1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughters of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonites, and the Hittites, of the nations concerning which Yahuwah said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go in to them, neither shall they come in unto you.
Now, a lot of people, we spoke about this last night, right? We don't advocate marrying outside of Israel at all, right? But the law is specific about who he said don't deal with. Y'all feel me? That's what you got. Go back to Deuteronomy 7. Seven and 1. Right? He's very specific about who he says to mess with and don't mess with, right? But a lot of people they lump everybody all up in one, you know what I'm saying? In one thing. Oh, you can't marry nobody outside of Israel. And hey, I don't advocate marrying outside of Israel at all. But the law is the law. We agree? Deuteronomy 7:1.
Deuteronomy 7:1. When Yahuwah thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you.
He said how many nations?
7 nations.
All of them. How many? 7. Right? Read.
7 nations greater and mightier than you. And when Yahuwah your power, or Elohim, shall deliver them before you, you shall smite them and utterly destroy them, that thou shalt make no covenant with them.
With who?
With them.
With everybody.
With them.
With all the Gentile nations.
With them.
With them. Read.
Nor shew mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
With everybody.
With them.
With them. So do we see why Solomon's punishment was so specific? He specifically went against a commandment given in the book of Deuteronomy, right? Which he was a king, so he was supposed to know what?
The law.
He's supposed to know the law. He's supposed to write the law, right?
Yeah.
He knew this. Read. Verse 3.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughters shalt thou make unto thy son, take unto thy sons. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other powers. So will the anger of Yahuwah be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly.
So now, he told you, if you mess with these people, these specific nations, that they was going to make you worship other gods. You don't see an Edomite on here. Right? But I'm not saying go and marry him. I just want to clear that up for the camera, because you know how brothers get, right?
He love that white bastard.
Exactly. Right? But he's very specific. And when we see who Solomon wouldn't mess with, let's go back to 1 Kings.
First Kings, chapter 11 and verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughters of Pharaoh.
How many strange women did he love?
Many.
Many, together with. Then he starts naming off specifics again. Right? With who?
With the daughters of Pharaoh. Women of Moabites. The Ammonites. Edomites. Zidonians. The Hittites. Of the nations concerning which Yahuwah said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go in unto them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your hearts after the gods, after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love.
So Solomon clave unto these women in love. We see that after he clave unto these women in love, drop down to verse 6.
Verse 6. And Solomon did evil in the sight of Yahuwah, and went not fully after Yahuwah, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build an high place to Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem. As for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon, and likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods.
So now we see when he done went into these women, married these women, he done started going off after they gods, right? Now remember, we talking about, let's just think about the topic, a little leaven leavens the whole lump, right? So what did this in turn do? What did his sin do? Split the kingdoms? Exactly. Let's jump back. 1 Kings chapter 9. He told them from Jump Street what was going to pop off if you did this.
I
wanted you to explain scripture right quick before we move on. That's okay. It's relevant to what we just pointed out about what nations to stay away from. Okay, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. 1 Kings chapter 9 and start at verse 2. Matter of fact, verse 1.
1 Kings 9 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass, when Solomon had finished the building of the house of Yahuwah, and the king's house, and all Solomon's desires, which he was pleased to do so, to do, that Yahuwah appeared to Solomon the second time, and he appeared as he appeared unto Gibeon. And Yahuwah said unto him, I have heard thy prayer, and thy supplication that thou hast made before me. I have hallowed this house, which thou hast built, to put my name there forever. And mine eyes and mine heart shall be there perpetually. And if thou wilt walk before me, as David thy father walked, in integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do according to all that I have commanded thee, and will keep my statutes and my judgment, then will I establish the throne of thy kingdom upon Israel forever.
If you do what I said, if you follow after your father, I got you. I'm going to establish your kingdom forever. Right? But it's always a double-sided coin. You know what I'm saying? If you do what I say, you get this. If you don't do what I say, you get this. Right? Read.
As I promised to David thy father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man upon the throne of Israel. But if ye shall at all turn from following me, ye or your children, and will not keep my commandments and my statutes, which I have set before you, but go and serve other gods.
This was real specific right here, right? If you or your children go outside of me, going to serve other gods, because this is what Solomon ended up doing. Now, he told him this from Jump Street. Read.
But go and serve other gods and worship them. Then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them.
So not only was he going to split the kingdoms, he said, I'm going to take Israel all together and get them out of the land. Right? Read.
Then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them, and this house which I have hallowed for my name will I cast out of my sight, and Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all nations.
Sound like something. What that sound like?
Deuteronomy 28.
That sound like the curses, right? So we see when our forefathers literally spearheaded a prophecy that was given back in the law. Right? Read on.
And at this house, which is high, everyone that passeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss, and they shall say, why hath Yahuwah done thus unto this land and to this house? And they shall answer, because they forsook Yahuwah their power, who brought forth their fathers out of the land of Egypt, and have taken hold upon other gods, and have worshipped them, and served them. Therefore hath Yahuwah brought upon them all this evil.
Now Solomon is how many people? One. The nation of Israel was how many people?
Millions.
Millions, right? Without number, right? His sin caused us to be sitting in this classroom right now today. Right? A little leaven tore up the whole lump. Right? So we got to understand that those little single solitary sins you might think of, you might do, oh, this ain't about nothing. Right? That can screw up everything. A sin can change your mindset. A sin can change your thought process. Right? One decision can change your whole life. So your best bet is to stay on track, to stay on course. Right? 2 Peter 2:21. Hey.
Second Peter chapter 2 and verse 1.
21.
Chapter 2 and verse 21.
Uh-huh.
For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness, than after they have known it, to turn from the Kodesh commandments delivered unto them.
It had been better for Solomon not to have known the law, for him to know it, specifically know what he had to do, specifically know what, if he went against the Most High in a certain regard, what was going to happen. It was better for him not to have known none of that than to did what he did. Right? Read.
But it is happened unto them according to the true proverb.
Mm-hmm.
The dog is turned to his own vomit again,
Mm-hmm.
and the sow that was washed to her wallowing in the mirror.
You done went right back into the stuff you said you wasn't going to do. The same stuff you came out of. The same unleavened bread that you took out of your house, that you supposed to be getting out of your body, your temple. You done brought it back in. The wickedness, the malice, you done brought it right back in. So now what you left with? Judgment. Punishment. Matthew chapter 12, verse 43. Matthew 12. Let's see an example of that. Y'all know this story, right? Matthew chapter 12, verse 43.
Matthew chapter 12 and verse 43.
Mm-hmm.
When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man.
Because in this sense of unleavened bread, when you getting it out, this becomes unclean to you for these 7 days, right? You can't touch that. It's abominable. You'll be cut off. Right? Read.
When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none.
So now the unclean spirit, he outside of you. He walking around. He trying to figure out, man, I gotta get somewhere. I gotta lay my head at. I gotta go somewhere, right? Now, a person that's just lost in limbo, and you done came from a place that you done got kicked out of, naturally, you would do what? You're going to try to find your way to ease back in where you left. This is comfortable for you, right? So you done got this unclean stuff out of you. You done got, whether it was fornication, adult, whatever it was, you done got it up out of you. But that don't mean that it's not there no more. That don't mean that it ain't on the outside lurking for you. Read on.
Then he saith, I will return into my house from whence I came out.
I got to go back to the spot I came from. This ain't working for me being out here, not being able to rest. Right? Read.
And when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished.
So he come back, he like, ooh, she done cleaned up. He done cleaned up nice in here. Right? Read.
Then goeth he, and taketh with himself 7 other spirits, more wicked than himself. And they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first.
Didn't he just tell us in Peter that it's better for you to not to have known at all? He just said the same thing. Mashiach just told you the same thing. Them spirits come back, they coming back with an army. They ain't trying to leave now. Now that man worse than when he started. If you gonna start something, it's just like your parents ever told you when you was younger. If you gonna start something, see it through, finish it out, right? This walk, this journey, this awakening that we come into, this removing of the leaven, so to speak. This is not something that you can just play with. I always say this ain't no light switch. You can't just turn it on and off when you're ready, because it's consequences building up. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you turn a light switch on, it's bills adding, right? Those circuits going through, that's your light bill, right? It don't stop until you turn the light off. It's the same thing now. You cannot stop. This walk is a journey, right? Hebrews chapter 10. Hebrews chapter 10, pick it up at verse 23.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 23.
23.
Let us,
Start at verse 22. I apologize.
verse 22. Let us draw near with a true heart.
With a what type of heart?
A true heart.
With a what type of heart?
A true heart.
Everybody want to be loved in truth, right? You don't want somebody to tell you they love you and they don't really love you. You don't want somebody to be around you if they don't really want to be around you, right? He said, come to him with a true heart. Right? Read.
In full assurance of faith.
And full what?
Assurance of faith.
When you got full coverage on your car and you get into a wreck, you worried about it? No. Why? It's covered. You got no fault. Right? Some people ain't got insurance at all. They just hit mud, right?
Your fault.
Right? We say come with a full assurance of faith. Read on.
Full assurance of faith. Having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water.
Now what did he tell us to do?
Let us hold fast the profession of our faith.
Let us hold what?
Fast our profession of our faith without wavering.
Without what?
Without wavering.
Without wavering. You got to be on this thing so tight that you can't even move to the left or to the right. Y'all know we go in Joshua chapter 1 when he says if you go to the left side or you go to the right side, it's going to be bad for you. Right? Read this. 2nd Ezra, and this in the apocrypha, y'all. 2nd Ezra chapter 6. Chapter 7. In verse 56. You got to be so tight on this thing that you don't move to the left or to the right. Because damnation is coming if you do. If you shake it off, if you go here, if you go there, damnation is coming if you don't get yourself back in line. But it's hard to think about it because it ain't in your face. It's hard to think about damnation. It's hard to think about hellfire. It's hard to think about all of these bad things that the Bible say gonna happen because you don't see it. How many of y'all walk past the store and seen somebody burning up on the inside and like, oh man, that's hell? You know, it don't happen. It's not in your face. So sometimes it's hard for you to fathom it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. 756. 2nd Ezra 7:56.
2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 56. For while we lived and committed iniquity.
While we lived and committed what?
Iniquity.
So we know iniquity, sin, all of these things is what? The transgression of what? Of the law, right? While we lived and committed iniquity, what happened?
We considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death.
You ain't even thinking about it. It's not in your mind that while you committing these sinful acts, while you committing this iniquity, I'm going to have to pay for that one day. Good grief. Man, this might be my last day. The next sin you commit could be your last sin. That's how you want to go out? That's how you want to go out. That's how you going to come to the Most High? Oh man, I've been a good and faithful servant, but you know, just that last time I just got caught up. How that work? Right? Keep reading.
Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle.
Of the what?
Of the battle.
This is the condition of the battle. Do what?
Which man that is born upon the earth shall fight.
Mm-hmm.
That if he be overcome, he shall suffer as thou hast said. But if he get the victory, he shall receive the things that I say.
He done told us he got a place prepared for us. If you go through what you go, if you go through this a little bit now, you'll be all right. But if you keep on dipping and dabbling back into the person that you once was, or dipping and dabbling back into something he told you not to be, you're going to have to suffer for that after death. Right? Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 10. This is the condition of the battle. Right? So in the battle, you got to work, you got to fight, you got to, all of these type of things, right? Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 10.
Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 10. For he that is entered into his rest, he also have ceased from his own works.
From his what?
From his own works.
So that means you got to work. If you enter into the rest of the Most High, That means that you cease from your works. What are these works that he's talking about? Who said something? Said sin? You ain't gonna enter his rest if you've been working sin. Right? Keeping the law. Right? Read on.
As Yah did from his. Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest.
Let us do what?
Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest.
Lest any man what?
Lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief.
You got to labor to enter into the rest. Unless you're going to fall. Well, let me ask y'all a question. What could he be talking about right here? When he say, labor to enter into the rest unless you fall in the same example of unbelief. Who fell into an example that we can look at of unbelief that they didn't enter into the rest?
Israel.
When?
When we chose to undergo the path of the curses,
Sort of, kind of.
bring the hard bondage, laboring, and we turned away from them.
Sort of, kind of.
Walked in faith.
Sort of, kind of.
Negated bad report. James and Lance put in.
Close. Not quite. I'm read it again. We'll read it again.
All right. Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief.
He says you're going to enter into a rest. Right? And you won't go in there if you fall after the same example of unbelief. Who is this example talking about? Who was supposed to enter into rest at one point in time? What's that? The key is because of unbelief.
When you lack faith, you're unbelief.
That's a nice clue.
A lack of faith means you don't believe.
To narrow it down, huh? Yeah. To narrow it down, it's in the law.
Oh, yeah. What generations didn't make it? The promised land?
Exactly.
Yeah.
When they was in Egypt for 40 years,
Yeah.
everybody that wasn't a certain age and under, you was getting killed. But why did he tell them that? Because they lacked faith. They were unbelieving. They were murmuring. He says that let us labor to enter into his rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. We were supposed to be going into the promised land. We were supposed to get rest from our enemies on all sides. But they couldn't get in because they didn't believe. And when you don't believe, you commit sin. When you commit sin, you transgress the law. When you transgress the law, you're spitting in the Most High face. Right? So, you got to have faith, and you got to be consistent.
Yes.
You got to be consistent. Inconsistency breeds what? Failure. Failure. Right? Get Exodus chapter 20 and verse 6. Oh, baby, you sound like you want to read.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
As showing mercy unto thousands.
To who?
Thousands of them.
So how many people gonna make it to? I mean, like, how many people keeping His commandments right now?
They say it's 6 billion people, right?
Right. So if it's 6 billion people, almost 7 billion people, He said He showed mercy unto who?
Thousands.
Y'all know that. Who wants to be in that number? That thousands, right? You got to do what the man say. The commandments was forever, right? So what he told him to write into these commandments is forever, right? Consistently, it's been thousands of people keeping his commandments. Not millions, not billions, not trillions. Thousands. Read on.
And shewing mercy unto thousands of them that love me.
That do what?
That love me.
That do what?
Love me.
How it is, what's the opposite of love? So if you don't keep his commandments, do you hate him? Man, that's a big statement. Because when you commit sin and you know you committing sin, you telling them what? I hate you. Can you imagine looking up to the Shamayim and saying, I hate you? If you can't imagine doing that, don't show them in your actions. If you're going to show them in your actions, you might as well be bold enough, you know what I'm saying? Look up in the Shamayim and just say it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Right? Read on.
And shewing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Yah, your Elohim, in vain.
The character, the fame, the esteem of the Most High, don't take it in vain. Don't be out here wilding when you talking about I believe in the Most High. Don't be out here in lawlessness when you talking about I believe in the Most High. Drop down to verse 9, because this is we got to get to, because he said the condition of the battle that we must fight, right? And in this battle we got to work. We got to labor to enter into the rest. You don't know what rest is if you ain't never put in work, right? Everybody got a job? Anybody got a job? Got a job, right? When you get that weekend off, do you enjoy it? Yeah, right? But in order for you to enjoy it, you had to put some work in, right? Read that verse 9.
Verse 9. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work.
How much of your work?
All thy work.
All your work, read.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah thy Elohim.
Now in Hebrews the 4th chapter, he tells us about the rest he gonna let us enter, right? That 7th day, that millennial reign, so to speak, right? But you gotta work before you get there. You ain't gonna get there easy. This ain't no easy thing. He told Adam he had to work by the sweat of his brow. So we gotta do the same thing, and we gotta do it consistently. If you wanna have before grocery stores, right? Or before when you had to actually get in your garden and make your stuff yourself. You know what I'm saying? In order for your garden to grow in a nice amount of time, right? Get enough food, you had to do what consistently? You had to get out there and work it. You had to groom it into what you want it to be so you can reap the reward from it. It's no different right now. It's no different. You can't expect to make it into the kingdom because you keep the Shabbat. That ain't the only thing the man said do. All right? Am I talking to anybody? You can't expect just to, oh yeah, I'll be up in there. Yeah. Peace out, y'all. If you ain't doing what that man said do. Don't work like that. So he told us 6 days you supposed to labor, right? Get Deuteronomy chapter 10. Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12.
Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12. And now, Israel.
Now who?
Israel.
Anybody Israel in here? Right? Now who?
Now, Israel.
Mm-hmm.
What doth Yahuwah thy Elohim require of you?
What do we require, y'all? Keep his commandments, right? Is that simple or is it hard? Nothing that the Most High laid out for us is hard. We make it hard. Right? Read it.
But to fear Yahuwah thy Elohim, and to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve Yahuwah thy Elohim with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of Yahuwah and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day for thy good.
This is what he requires of you. This is all he wants. Get Deuteronomy 5:29. Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 29. Deuteronomy 5 and 29. This ain't talking about just specific commandments. He says my commandments, my statutes, and my judgments. Right? Deuteronomy 5 and 29.
Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 29. Oh, that there was such a heart in them.
Oh, that there was such a heart in them. If they just had this specific type of heart. Read.
That they would fear me.
That they would do what?
Fear me.
That they would fear him.
And keep all my commandments.
Keep how many of them?
All my
A
commandments.
couple of them.
All my commandments.
I'm going to do these 10, but the other ones he said to do, I'm going to leave them alone. How many?
Keep all my commandments.
Uh-huh.
Always.
How long?
Always.
Read.
That it might be well with them and with their children.
And with their who?
With their children.
So the things that you do fall down on your babies, right? You know, when people cuss around your babies and your babies come around and they cussing around you, that's because they watching the example of somebody, right? So if you want your babies to get into the kingdom, you have to breed kingdom behavior, right? If you want your babies to love the Most High, then you have to breed that type of behavior. And the people around you, right? If your crowd don't change when you come into this word, guess who ain't changed? You ain't changed. Right? Who is that? 5 and 29? Get Deuteronomy chapter 11. Matter of fact, nope. Get Deuteronomy 6 and 17.
Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 17. Ye shall not tempt Yahuwah your Elohim as he tempted him in Massah. You said Deuteronomy 6 and 17?
Yeah.
Oh, I picked it up at the wrong. Okay. Verse 17. Ye shall diligently keep the commandments of Yahuwah your power and his testimonies and his statutes which he have commanded you.
What word jumped out at y'all, if any?
Diligently.
Diligently, right? Who know the definition of the word diligent?
Consistent.
Consistent, right? Over and over and over. You know how people, why do people say that you in a religion? What does the word religion mean? Or religious? Repetitive cycle, right? They swayed it to make it something that it wasn't, right? But religious is just to do something constantly over and over and over again. Oh man, he go there, he do that faithfully. That's another way of saying it. Or he do that religiously. That's another way of saying it, right? So when he told you keep his commandments diligently, he said, hey man, you go ahead and knock that out for me, like all the time. Not some of the time, all the time. Deuteronomy chapter 11. I'm trying to drive home a point right quick. Deuteronomy 11 and 13.
Deuteronomy 11 and verse 13. And it shall come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently unto my commandments, which I command you this day, to love Yahuwah your Elohim, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, that I will give you the rain of your land in his due season.
He gonna give you what you asking for, what we long for, our land, to be in our land and be plentiful, right? To be around the place that he told us and commanded us he was gonna give us in the first place. But if you don't diligently do what he say do, I'm not gonna give you nothing, just like your babies. I'm not about to give you no cookie if you keep on touching the plug when I told you stop touching the plug. You don't get no passes for that. Right? 1 Corinthians chapter 15. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Pick it up at verse 58. 1 Corinthians 15 and 58. So now that he told you to diligently do this stuff, right? Let's see what else he got for you.
1 Corinthians 15 and verse 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast.
Be you what?
Steadfast.
What does steadfast mean? On track, right? Read.
Unmovable.
What?
Unmovable.
Unmovable. Can't nobody shake me from the place I'm at. Unmovable. I done made the commitment to do this thing to the Most High. I done vowed the vow to the Most High that I'm going to do this. Everybody coming into the truth, whether you was dealing with a hardship or not, Father, you just do this for me. I keep your commandments. If you just, right? Anybody ever had that talk with the Most High? Father, if you just get me out of this this conflict or whatever you're going through, you done made that commitment to the Most High. You can't break it. Read.
Unmovable, always abounding in the works of the master.
Always abounding in the what?
In the work of the master.
There go that word work again. Right? Read.
For as much as you know that your labor,
That your what?
that your labor
Is not in what?
is not in vain.
Your labor ain't in vain. What you putting forth the effort to do is not in vain. The Most High's word don't return to him what? Void. So if he told you he gonna do something for you, he gonna do it. But you gotta be consistent. You gotta hold up your end. It's gonna come easy. Let's see. We good on that. Get Hebrews chapter 10. Pick it up at verse 27.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 27. But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation which shall devour the adversaries.
Start a verse before that. I'm sorry.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 26. For if we sin willfully,
How long? I mean, what type of sin?
willfully,
You done made it up in your mind that this is what you about to do. Right? Or you try to convince yourself that it ain't that wrong for the time being. Right? Oh, man, this ain't really... That ain't really a sin if I do it like this. Or if I... no, that can't really be a sin like that. No. Right? He said if you sin willfully... Read.
after that we have received the knowledge of the truth.
What's the knowledge of the truth? Knowledge of the commandments, the knowledge of the law, right? How many of y'all got the knowledge of the law? But he is the law. He is the law, right? So if after anybody receive the knowledge of the truth in here, the commandments, what we supposed to do, what we ain't supposed to do, anybody know? Now, let me see a show of hands. I just want to see it. Okay, I see. I got y'all. So y'all don't receive the knowledge of the truth, right? That means that's another commitment you done committed yourself to, right? Now who's a witness for what y'all just did? Everybody in here, right? So if you see somebody falling off, what you supposed to do? Who's the main witness? Who did he tell you the witness was? Mashiach? That ain't what he told you. That's what you know. But he told you something. He told you who the witness was in the law. B, you can't cheat like that. You cheating, bro. That's not fair. Who know what it is?
I set before you this day
Heaven and earth. Shamaim.
Can nobody hear you say it?
Heaven and earth.
Heaven and earth. The heavens and the earth bear record of the vows you make to the Most High. Heaven and earth is here to witness against you this day the same thing that you just said. Those commandments that you recited. You saying that you know the truth. So now when you willfully go against what you say you know, you're being rebellious, right? Rebellion is as the sin of what?
Witchcraft.
What you supposed to do with a witch? Right? Oh, nine. That boy said, shoot him. Cut her head off. Oh, nine. Right? I don't think the water gonna work. Go back to what we at? Hebrews 10 and what?
26.
All right, read the next verse.
I'll finish it out.
Okay.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 26. For if we sin willfully after we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins.
Mm-hmm. Now rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. You supposed to suffer not a witch to live, right? You're supposed to burn a witch, right? Keep going.
But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation.
What type of indignation?
Fiery indignation.
You're gonna get the same fate that a witch would get. Read.
Which shall devour the adversaries. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses.
Even if they was consistent. If you was consistent, right? I did it, I kept the law, kept the law, kept the law, kept the law. And one day you just said, man, you know what? I can't stand doing this. I'm going to go off and do A, B, C, and D. Right? Under 2 or 3 witnesses, you was up out of here. Now you get the opportunity to go off and do whatever you want to do. Your whole life up until you came into the truth. Now you done found out that you in this truth. You done found out that you're supposed to keep the law. And you going to go back. He said, but a what? Verse 27 again?
But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy.
Without what?
Without mercy.
Because he allowed mercy to be shown to who?
Thousands.
Of those that do what?
Love him.
And do what?
Keep his commandments.
So you're going to die without mercy because you're going against his commandments. Read.
He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. Of how much sorer punishment suppose you shall he be through worthy, who have trodden underfoot the Son of Yah, and have counted the blood of the covenant wherewith he was sanctified an unholy thing, and have done despite unto the Spirit of grace.
So, in a nutshell, what you think he gonna do to you? If they died after committing a sin, right? After consistently being, you know what I'm saying? They could have been consistent. They committed a sin worthy of death if they got killed on the spot. And you get the grace to go around here and just do whatever you want to do. How much worse do you think it's going to be for you? Because he can't get instant satisfaction on you right now. He made it to where, you know what? I'm not going to, what? All right? He can't get the instant satisfaction of killing you right now. But when he do, it's going to be a lot worse. 1 John chapter 2, verse 27. What? 27. 1 John chapter 2 and 27. Verse 28. Verse 28. When you get there. 1 John 2 and 28.
1 John chapter 2 and verse 28. And now, little children.
We went over why you got to be made like a child again, right? Y'all remember that, right? He said, now little children, read.
And now, little children, abide in him.
Abide in who? What's talking about we supposed to abide in? Mashiach, and Mashiach abide in the Father, right? So we all one together if we doing what he say do, right? Read.
And now, little children, abide in him, that when he shall appear, we may have confidence.
Wait a minute. When he shall appear, we may have what?
Confidence.
How many of y'all, if he stepped on the scene today and said it's all over with, you good? I'm ready. Let's go. How many? Today. Today. I see one. If he came today and said, hey, I'm killing every sinner on the scene. Everybody that willfully sin right now, you out of here. How many of y'all confident in this coming? 2, 3, 4, 5. How many people in this room? More than the people who raised their hand, right? B made y'all take the picture last night, right? Y'all still got that selfie?
Everybody should have been.
It's in less than 24 hours. So.
All right. Y'all gonna say everybody should have been finished last night.
Yeah, exactly.
You should be good, right? If he came through, he said you supposed to have confidence. Read that verse again, Doc.
And now, little children, abide in him, that when he shall appear, we may have confidence.
We shall have confidence in what?
And not be ashamed before him at his coming.
And not be ashamed, not be stooped down, not be hiding from it. Because that's what Adam and Eve did. They were ashamed that it's coming. When they heard him coming, what they do? Cover themselves here. They said, oh, wait a minute, I ain't got no clothes on. They was naked and ashamed. The children of Israel, when they went out there and sacrificed to the golden calf, they were naked and ashamed. Let's not be like that, right? We almost do. In Revelation chapter 3 and verse 15. This for the light. This for the light, man. I'll let you have it. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 15.
Home. 3 and 15.
Let me say it again.
Chazon.
Chazon. You got to say it with your throat. Chazon. Go ahead.
For I know thy works, that thou art neither cold.
He know your what?
Your works.
He know your what? The same thing we started off talking about, right? With them works. I know your works. You ain't getting nothing past him. You ain't nothing sliding by. No matter how much you convince yourself, when you wrong, you wrong. You wrong, you wrong, you wrong. You can't convince yourself that you right when you wrong. You can't convince yourself that you keeping the commandments when you know what sin you committing. No matter how many times you rehearse it over and over, man, this ain't wrong, man. I'm telling you. I'll be all right, man. We in captivity. Good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. No matter how many times you convince yourself, it don't change what the facts are. The book is an absolute. Anybody know what an absolute is? What is an absolute? It's a fact. Ain't no change, ain't no getting around it. It's a fact, right? So, no matter how many lies you tell yourself, you can't lie to him. He said, I know your works. Hey, I'm looking right at you. Everything is naked before his sight, right? Everything. Ain't no getting around that. Read.
I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot.
Anybody cold in here? Anybody hot? Y'all neither one? So y'all Luke.
No.
That man only gave you 3.
Right.
Cold, hot, or Luke. Read on.
I would that you were cold or hot.
I'd rather you be cold or hot. I'd rather you be one of them two. Now, whether being hot is on fire for the Lord, you know what I'm saying, church? Ooh, you on fire for the Lord, right? Or being cold is completely off, broken away, right? If you lukewarm, if you just, you know what I'm saying, I'm in this thing. You straddling. You won't, y'all ever been on the fence and wasn't strong enough to get yourself all the way over yet? You was scared. You
Rip your pants because it's cold.
so like, you've been through that before, right? Right. Right? If you lukewarm, if you in the middle, you ain't saying nothing. You comfortable. You ain't saying nothing. Anybody come to you, hey, you a Hebrew? Yeah, I'm a Hebrew. Yup. Keep the commandments? Oh, yeah, I keep a few of them. Now you just put yourself in the same boat as the person who asking you. You know what I'm saying? I dip and dabble in them a little bit.
613 of them. Nobody can do all that.
Right. But every law don't pertain to every person. Right? But you straddling the fence, you're not saying nothing. When you walk around and you ain't properly, you don't have your garments on, you don't have your fringes on, you ain't making no statements. You saying I blend in with the rest of y'all, I fit in with y'all. You know what I'm saying? He ain't tell you to fit. Matter of fact, let's get back to let's go, hold what you got. Get Leviticus. Leviticus chapter. Hold on. One moment. Get Leviticus 11 and 44 first. Grab this one right quick. I can't think of the verse. Here. 11 and 44.
Leviticus 11 and 44. For I am Yahuwah your power. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be Kodesh, for I am Kodesh.
So he told you to sanctify yourself. What do sanctify mean? Set apart. If this is the world right here, you supposed to be over here. Right? Set apart. Sanctify. For be you Kodesh, for he is what? He is Kodesh, right? Because the world is here. Where he at? In correspondence to the world. You're on the outside of it. Right? Leviticus 20 and 26. Leviticus 20 and 26.
Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26. And ye shall be Kodesh unto me, for I, Yahuwah, am Kodesh.
And have what?
And have served you, have severed you.
I've severed you. What do severed mean? I've cut you off from other people. You got to stand out. You know how they say you stick out like a sore thumb? You got to be that. You know what I'm saying? In a room full of darkness, you got to be the light. Right? Read.
And ye shall be Kodesh unto me, for I Yahuwah am Kodesh, and have severed you from other people, that you should be mine.
I shouldn't be able to lump you up with everybody else. Even from Israel. Right? I shouldn't be able to say, oh man, he just like all the rest of them. Right? They royal for saying the chosen seed ain't like everybody else. Right? They consistently tell you that. It's a reason. You got to set yourself apart from wickedness. Whether it be from Israelites, whether it be from your family, whether it be from your friends, whatever it is, you got to separate yourself from evil. Right? Let's get back to Revelation. So how many of y'all cold in here? How many of y'all hot? one of them. I'm one. I'm one or the other. Whichever one is the best one, that's the one I am. Right? Who ain't neither one? Ain't none of y'all neither one, right? Okay. Go ahead.
So then, because you are lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew or vomit you out of my mouth.
He said, you ain't got no place for me. You ain't got no place for me, right? We almost finished. Get Matthew 22. Matthew 22 and verse 11.
Matthew chapter 22 and verse 11. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment.
He said when the king came in, when the king come, right? He's talking about being confident that it's coming, right? When he come, he says he seen a man that didn't have on a what?
On a wedding garment.
On a wedding garment, read.
And he saith unto him, Friend.
What do you call him?
Friend.
Friend. Read.
How camest thou hither not having a wedding garment?
I done invited all y'all to come, right? I ain't just gonna invite you to no wedding if I don't know you, right? He speak about knowing you from every follicle on your head. He know, right? Read.
And he was speechless.
And he was what?
Speechless.
The same thing. If he come to you and say, hey, how you been out here acting a fool, man? What you gonna say to him? You know them laws, man. You know we was in captivity, right? No, that don't work. You ain't gonna have nothing to say. Period. No matter what type of sin it is, you ain't gonna have nothing to say. Because that question that he asked you gonna be the last question you hear from him. Right? Even Adam sounded like a fool when he said that. It was that woman you gave. You idiot. I gave her to you, meaning this was yours. Right? Read on.
Then said the king to the servant, Bind him hand and foot.
Do what to him?
Bind him hand and foot.
He's going to say this to his servants. And do what?
And take him away and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
So he's going to cast you into outer darkness. We not children of the night. Right? We the children of the day. So if we the children of the day, and he going to cast somebody into outer darkness, who he sending them with? He's sending them with the people that's in darkness, right? So we got to understand something. If we the children of the light and they the children of the night, the same people that you in the world talking about, oh man, y'all better stop sinning. Y'all better start keeping these commandments. Y'all better start doing this and doing that. They're going to be the same people you're going to be lumped up with if you continue in lawlessness. If you don't be consistent. Them same people that you're talking to right now, you're going to be down there with them like, what happened? Like my man's always told me, if you're going to commit sin, or a little sin here and there, right? Why just do a little sin here and there? You're going to live part of your life strict and the other part you're going to live loosely? Why not just have fun on your way to hell? Why would you play around with it? You know, no sense in acting up. I'm going to keep a little bit of commandments, you know what I'm saying? I ain't going to eat no shrimp, pork, crab, or lobster. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to commit adultery, though. You might as well, you know the pork ribs smell good to you. You might as well go and eat the ribs. Don't play with it. If you want to be in this thing, if you say this is what you about, do it. Be consistent with it. You consistent on your job. You know what I'm saying? Couple more. Where we at? Matthew 22. Read verse 14.
Verse 14. For many are called, but few are chosen.
No, that's it. Many are called, few are chosen. Get James chapter 1 and verse 4. James 1 and 4.
James chapter 1 and verse 4. But let patience have her perfect work.
Even patience got a job. Right? And you ought to work patience in yourself, right? Let patience have her perfect work, read.
That ye may be perfect and enter, wanting nothing,
That you may be perfect,
and entire.
wanting nothing. Right? That word perfect get thrown around a lot in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? It means blameless. Read.
Wanting nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask Yah, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given unto him.
So if you think you're doing something wrong, if you're not sure if you're doing something wrong, you need to go and ask. You need to go and figure it out before you just fall into a reprobate state. You feel what I'm saying? Because this work that we got to do, it don't stop until you stop breathing. Ecclesiastes 9 and 10.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do.
So whatever your hand find to do, it's talking about what? Working, right? Whatever your hand find to do, whatever you put yourself into, read.
Do it with that might.
Do it with your might. Do it with everything you got. Right? Read. Because what?
For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whither thou goest.
Because it ain't none in the grave. That's it. Once you leave from here, that's all it is. That's all she wrote. Ain't no more work. Ain't no saying, hey, can I make up for it? You here now? You here now. Like he told you, you like a fish in the water being brought up in a net. Right? You don't know when your time is. You don't know. It could be 5 minutes when you walk out to this door. You don't know. So when you claim that you about this, you got to be about this for real, because he going to hold you to it. If you want to make it into the kingdom, you want to make it into heaven, if you want to make it, you got to work to get there, period. So with that, I say shalom. Questions, comments, concerns? I know you had a question. Here.
Yeah, trying to put it